Unfortunately, it looks like I'm making this video again. Yes, eBay has restricted my account again. If you watch a video that I made on the 26th of last month, you will know this is something which I experienced for the first time back then, where eBay restricted my account for 3 days for apparently selling counterfeit items. And despite the fact I contacted them to prove that my items were legitimate and to prove that I had receipts, invoices and all that kind of stuff to prove that I bought the items from legit sources, there was nothing that they wanted to do, as all of the work for eBay is outsourced and mainly done by computers. Regardless though, this happened again and it looks like my account is now restricted for 7 days. I got a message just like last time saying that one of my items has been removed and now my account is going to be basically suspended for the next 7 days. This will mean that I'm not going to be able to make any new orders really, and obviously my products will not be shown to people, which has caused a lot of confusion to my current customers, and obviously that's not good. And whilst my eBay business does make up a significant proportion of my revenue for my reselling business as a whole, I've been expecting this for a while. When I first got the initial complaint for counterfeit items, which I know are legit, and when eBay were not willing to do anything to look at it or to actually acknowledge that I've sold well over 500 items and acknowledge the fact that I've actually had nothing but positive feedback, when that happened I knew that eBay wasn't a platform that I could really take seriously anymore, because I take a lot of pride in my business and I don't want to be in a house in effect which limits me to selling certain items, and even when I sell legitimate items, have good customers who are happy, I still always have the potential to get banned from the platform because they think that what I'm selling is wrong. And that would be okay, but the thing is, eBay's customer service doesn't really do much to help. All they told me is that they're not educated enough to deal with the matter and it's all done with computers. So clearly there's no human element there to actually inspect whether items are legitimate or not, or even to appeal the case. But from that point I knew I couldn't really sell on eBay as a full-time thing anymore, and since then I've been building up multiple alternative businesses, which is why I'm not too worried. The first time when I got the notification saying that eBay had restricted my account, I was quite worried, and if you can watch that video back, you'll see very clearly that I'm a bit angry, quite annoyed and very frustrated. Right now though, I'm completely calm, completely cool and completely collected. I couldn't care less, to be honest. Obviously it is a shame and it does set me back quite a bit, however I need to count my blessings. I've had a good 5-6 months on eBay and it has taught me everything that I need to know about building a watch business. Admittedly, you might say that watches is a very niche part of the market, and subsequently I have been expanding into different territories such as used clothing, new clothing from print on demand, and also expanding my current watch portfolio to sell on multiple platforms. So since the last restriction, I've built a website for myself, which is almost completely done. I've got over 120 products from my watch shop now on my watch website, and I've actually made one sale on there, which is obviously good going for this early in the game, especially considering that I've not spent a penny on advertising. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be focusing on filling out my watch shop, my actual watch website. And this is actually going to be a lot better for me in the long term if this business does still work out. Because unlike eBay, where you have to pay like, I think it's 10-15% fee per sale, that's not the case on your own website, especially if it's operated through something like Shopify for instance, which mine is. I've got to pay a £20 monthly fee, and obviously the costs of advertising which will come along with trying to promote a product, but really apart from that the fees are basically nothing. And especially as and where you can drive that free traffic, it's going to save me a lot of money in fees. And I've done the calculations at the moment. If I was to make the same amount of revenue that I make on eBay right now on my website, I'd probably make double or more the profit margin, simply for the fact that there's no fees in the way. So for that reason, I'm not too disappointed about being kind of put off eBay for 7 days. As a matter of fact, I don't really plan to go back in the same way at all. I'm seriously considering removing all of my listings from my eBay shop and calling it quits there, because I don't want to be in a platform where this can happen. I don't want to put in 3, 4, 5 hours a day into a business, put my all into it, spend money on loads of new stock just to get a message saying, hey, we're going to take away your money like that, we're going to take away your business, simply because they believe items are counterfeited without actually looking into it properly. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm going to jump before I get pushed, in the sense that we're now on a second restriction for no real reason, and I'm not going to get banned on eBay just because what's the point, right? What's the point in continuing this cat and mouse chase for something that I know is unfair? I'd rather just put all of my effort into something where I can reap my own rewards, because like I said last time, working with eBay is unfortunately working in somebody else's house. The same's true with Amazon, the same's true with Etsy and all of these platforms. That shouldn't be a bad thing, and it usually is not, but especially when so much of your income relies relies on one stream, and they can just take it down like that for no apparent reason, and there's no way to appeal. That's a really scary thing. That's why I'm really considering it. And really, I don't really want to sell on eBay anymore just because of the associated stress. But this will be a good wake-up call, because it means I've got to take my other sales channels a lot more seriously. I have had interactions selling on multiple different platforms in the past. I've had lots of success on Etsy, and I'm now starting to kind of understand the Amazon game. And those are also great sources, right? So for clothing and artwork, Etsy is brilliant. And I know that it does actually work, and I know that you can make some decent money on there. For a lot of stuff, actually, Amazon is also a great platform, arguably better than eBay. However, the problem that I'm facing right now is trying to get around the fact that most items need to be shipped in, say, a day. Obviously, it is always an option to go the FBA route, but I've not really thought that one through yet, as Amazon is kind of way down in my priorities, as I know that whilst an Amazon business can be extremely profitable, right now I have a very profitable watch business, and I know that once that's transported into another field, once I get that onto my own website, once I start driving the right kind of ads and making more money on my website, I'll be able to move on, because at that point, I'm more than happy to automate the watch business, getting somebody else to do all the work. This was something that I planned for eBay, but obviously as things have worked out, that's now not going to happen. So this might seem like a weird video, and maybe I'm ranting a bit, but I'm not really that bothered about this one. I just thought, as I want to document my progress both for you guys and for me, I thought I'd give you an update. So yes, now I will not be selling on eBay anymore, whether it be for the 7 days and I decide to come back, or whether that's me done for forever really. I'm not on eBay for the next week, and realistically, there's money, there's levels of stress, and you've got to consider what works in the middle for you. I'm just thinking eBay, as much as it was great money, probably just best to sell my own platform. So I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. And that's good, because it means I'll also be able to give you guys a lot of insights as to how I did eBay so quickly, how I was able to scale my business in about 4 months from making 0 to 10,000 in revenue, and also I'll be able to give you updates as to how I go with my Shopify store. So really, it's going to be 110% into Shopify right now, and I think that's a platform that I can really get inside with a lot more, to be honest. The trouble with places like eBay and Amazon, there's always somebody stepping in to cause problems. It's not necessarily bad, but it is a lot more stress than it needs to be. eBay decides whether returns and refunds are fair. eBay decides whether the delivery time is too long. eBay decides whether items are fair to be put on the platform or not. And I understand that they have a responsibility to this, so I'm not hating on it at all. What I am saying though is, as somebody who wants to take a business really seriously and wants to make this business make 100k in revenue, ideally in 2023, if not into 2024, I've got to think of a way as to how I can expand this even more. And I think when we look across the board, you know, being on a different platforms, it's going to add a lot of questionability to the potential for growth for this business. And I'm aware that there's businesses out there on eBay making tens of thousands a month, a week, a day, but is that best for my business model? And with the amount that they've been interfering, I don't think it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with my business model. If you look at my feedback, out of the 500 sales I've had, I've got 121 positive feedback, which is obviously quite good, and only 2 negative feedback, and they were really for problems that could have been solved if the people had got in touch with me in the first place. So, I run a legitimate business, I do my best to run a good business, and I do my best to take care of my customers. I'm not that worried about problems with running a business like this anymore. In the first couple of weeks of running eBay, it was stressful. I had my own accounting to do, I had to register for tax, I had to kind of get my head around listing 5-10 items a day. What do you want to list? How do you list properly? Now I get it all. I understand the whole process completely, and it's just a case of taking what I've learnt and expanding that into a new field, and I guess that's what I'm going to be doing now on Shopify. So I'm not that stressed. If you guys do want to buy from me on Shopify, I will be advertising a lot more on YouTube, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.